Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Doctor Who Revisited. It's time for the 5th Doctor. I have been putting this off for a while because I felt like I'd not long finished the 5th, 6th and 7th Doctors. So with the first 4, revisiting them was something that I was very keen to do. I think it's been like 4 months maybe since I did the 4th Doctor. And I just wanted to give it a bit of time to let the other Doctors settle in, give me time to miss them. I do miss the 5th Doctor, so it's about time I revisited him for a little bit. Can we please just excuse the mascara that I've dropped on my clean jumper? Let's just ignore that. If you're new here, my name is Marie-Clare. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's hope we get some. I want some Nyssa, I want some Tegan. I want some interviews with the 5th Doctor. And let's see how I react. Because when we've had... what was that Children in Need one? I can't remember. The 5th Doctor came on screen and I cried. Now, I didn't know... I didn't know that I felt so strongly about him. But clearly I do. So let's see how I go with this.
My Doctor was younger than the previous Doctors. I think that was the main thing he had going for him.
So it was quite a change for Doctor Who to have this younger man, and I think he brought so many new qualities to it.
The 1980s saw many radical changes. An actor in the White House, a female Prime Minister of Britain. But would humanity be able to accept that the 5th Doctor was now a quick-witted cricketer?
Very young.
I was probably the first Doctor, almost certainly the first Doctor, who'd actually watched the series when he was growing up. And I loved it. And to me, I suppose William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton were my 2 Doctors. So the idea of someone like me playing the part was a bit
I love those full circle moments though.
I was encouraged to do so by the producer.
He had this young, fresh face. It's much more innocent, or this shot of youth.
God, this episode feels like ages ago.
Peter was quite lucky in that his costume was a bit of a classic.
God, she looks like she hasn't aged.
I got a rather designer's idea of what a Victorian cricket outfit might have been, but it was very comfortable.
I love that coat.
I didn't have a say in actually choosing the costume itself, but I did suggest the idea that he might have a cricketing outfit.
Well, I suppose I'll get used to it in time. The 5th Doctor may have been young and good-looking, but he was still an ancient Time Lord, more than able to hold his own in any situation.
Could I ever let you go? The sight of beauty is so important to me. And the stimulus of a mind nearly equal to my own.
The 5th Doctor was much more
I love that we're having all the companions.
direct, I think. He was less self-consciously eccentric.
I think it was a really clever decision for the 5th Doctor to go in a way that made him more human, a kind of a softer portrayal, slightly more fallible.
If you can be normal as the Doctor and not too eccentric,
I've not even seen him
and be a
since,
believable
like,
person, I think that adds to
in
Doctor
any
Who.
interviews or
And I think
anything.
that's
My
what Peter brought to
goodness.
it. And it was a very warm Doctor. I think viewers liked that Doctor.
Within weeks, he absolutely was. He was the Doctor. That was what the Doctor looked like now, and that was what he did. And you would never question it or wish for it to be any other way.
At the time I was in the TARDIS was
That's
quite
my girl.
crowded, really.
The 5th Doctor's ship had a large crew, each bringing
Oh
a
yeah, we
unique
haven't had
dimension
Adric.
to the TARDIS team's dynamic. Some were orphans, some were assassins, and one just didn't want to be there.
Well, I inherited, I think, more companions than any other Doctor.
It was a new element, actually. We'd never really seen that before. We'd never really seen characters within the TARDIS team interacting in that way.
The 5th Doctor's TARDIS is full of life and colour and energy. And these are people who like each other and they're fond of each other, but there's also friction. necessarily a natural
I
phrase.
don't know why I didn't think that that's how he'd look.
2526 in the time
They've had all of his companions come on here. I love that.
I'm going outside now. I might be gone some time.
Peter's doctor was very protective of the three of us in the TARDIS, and I think particularly so of Nyssa, because she had lost everything and she really had nowhere else to go. There was nowhere he could take her back to, even if he wanted to. And they developed quite a strong relationship.
Tegan, who was brusque Australian, didn't really want to be there and was rather angry every time they ended up in some fantastical planet or going back 400 years in time. She was just plain cross.
Tegan, of Australian air hostess, who, of all Doctor Who companions, may be the one who comes aboard the TARDIS and most immediately wants to leave.
A small error has been made.
You call 300 years a small error?
It's probably due to nothing more than a temperamental solenoid on the lateral balance cones.
The Doctor exasperated her.
Why do you always have some incomprehensible answer?
And as you know, the TARDIS isn't always...
I still don't fully understand why she didn't just embrace it.
Call yourself a Time Lord. Broken clock keeps better time than you do. At least it's accurate twice a day, which is more than you ever are.
Else. But it was nice that some of that storytelling exposition was, was
I wonder if
taken
they
off
all
Doctor
actually
and
still
given to
get on.
the boy who got his sums wrong.
No, I didn't. I'm a mathematician.
Mathematician, eh? Well, what do you understand by E equals MC squared?
Doctor.
Come along, Andrew, explain the formula. Time went on. We just really became obvious we had too many people, too many companions in the TARDIS. And so one of them had to go at least, and it was decided that Adric was to leave.
The death of Adric was a big surprise.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't be able to get away with it nowadays when newspapers preview things and the internet exists. And that
Because it shows the Doctor can't
Young 6-year-old.
save them all.
Spaceship, which
It was his decision, wasn't it? But
being thrown at planet Earth to wipe out humanity.
Please hurry,
just
Doctor. We must get
shows.
Adric off the freighter.
The console's damaged. It was certainly, a major shock, and they treated it, I thought, rather well.
Look. Adric!
I think for the character of the Doctor across his entire 50 years, it's a key moment.
I think that was the first time I really faced or understood death. And it stuck with me ever since. From a companion who sacrificed himself to a companion who wanted to sacrifice the Doctor.
He calls himself the Doctor.
When he first came in, he was obviously trying to kill the Doctor. But he was only trying to kill the Doctor because the Black Guardian wanted him to kill the Doctor. So, how I had to play it was, yes, he did want to kill the Doctor, but he if he hadn't had to, he wouldn't have done.
yeah, it wasn't like
So
it
from the
wasn't a
start,
personal
you had
thing.
I hope that you could see that Turlo also had a nice kind side to him, or a good side.
I'd always been a very big fan of Cybermen. I think probably they were my favourite Doctor Who enemy, even over the Daleks.
Me too.
The Cybermen had once been ordinary creatures of flesh and blood.
For me, the Cybermen were always the scariest villains. They just seemed the most relentless. I know Daleks are obviously the most famous, and Daleks are the ones that most people are, in awe of and stuff. But when you're a kid, you kind of go, yeah, they can't catch me. But Cybermen could march and they could go anywhere. They were just a merciless army. And for me, they were always the scariest ones.
The Cybermen, there is absolutely no emotion there at all. They are just...
They're my favourite Cybermen design to this day. They were just very menacing. You could see behind the sort of plastic faces just a hint of the face, which is what they're meant to be. It's meant to be sort of humanoid kind of aliens who are in a life support.
The 1980s also saw the Doctor's old enemy, the Master, get a whole new lease of life. Armed with his deadly tissue compression eliminator, the evil Time Lord was reborn, even more charming and even more crazy.
I love the Master as a character. When he's in the series, he's a very big character. And he's very much pitted against the Doctor.
You're getting old, Doctor. Your will is weak.
A genius who had just decided to turn his talents to evil was a great thing for the show. I mean, a brilliant portrayal by Anthony Ainley.
Chaos will reign.
Yeah. I think he did a really good job.
Its emperor. Earth is a primitive planet. You won't succeed so easily elsewhere.
It's a personal battle between the Doctor and the Master, and that's really nice.
He had this way of playing him, which was terribly, terribly urbane.
Very honourable man who always wants to do the right thing.
I think the Fifth Doctor has a very special place in the public consciousness. I think he's one of the ones that people hold very dear.
I mean, I did think when I became an actor, it would be nice to get a part in Doctor Who. Maybe a couple of lines or a nice little featured character for a story. But I never dreamt that I would end up playing the Doctor.
Oh, I love those stories. I just love those full story moments of, I grew up watching Doctor Who, because I know for sure that obviously the 10th Doctor grew up watching Doctor Who. I don't know about the rest of them. I just love seeing people achieve and succeed. So that makes me very happy. I actually think the 5th Doctor had a bit of a hard time. When you actually look at like Turlough, he had someone who was trying to murder him. He had the Master, he had Tegan on board who didn't want to be on board. You know, I think he had a bit of a hard time. But I definitely, oh God, that is terrible. The 5th Doctor definitely has a really special place in my heart. I think because the between the 4th and the 5th Doctor is when I felt change. Again, I don't know how it was at the time or how you guys felt, but that's how I don't know, it feels like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd Doctor are here, then you've almost got 4 and 5 here, and then 6, 7, 8 here. And I've always said this, I love the whole of the series, but the 5th Doctor series just feels like a bit of a standalone. It doesn't really fit with the older classic Who, but it's not quite, in the 6th Doctor era, and that doesn't make any sense, but it does in my head, okay? It feels like a transitional, that's the word. It feels like a transition between the older classic era and the newer classic era. I warmed to him really quickly, and I guess I realised how quickly I warmed to him when we then had the 6th Doctor, who, was a bit of a plonker when he was first the Doctor. So I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, give me my 5th Doctor. I didn't feel like we had enough time with him. That is my only qualm, and I've said it before. I just could have done with one more series, and I've said it again about the 3rd Doctor. I would have sacrificed a couple of Tom Baker's seasons to have one more season with the 3rd Doctor and one more season with the 5th Doctor, because I just think he had more to give. I really do. Like, the Caves of Androzani is so good, and I was shocked that he was regenerating then, because I mean, you're always shocked, but I just didn't feel ready at all. So I would have liked another series with him, because I just think he had more to give, and I think him with Perry, again, we just didn't have enough time. And maybe that's why I feel so fondly about the 5th Doctor, because I think when you have someone that you feel like you need more time with, there's an appreciation there. Whereas when the 4th Doctor left, yes, I appreciated him, but I was like, yep, cool, I'm ready now for the next Doctor. I think the 5th Doctor had a really good run of companions. I love Nyssa so much. I know Tegan is normally the favourite. Nyssa is my favourite from that era. It was so nice seeing Adric and Turlough. I am going to look into them a bit, because I don't know what they're up to now. I wonder if someone like Adric... Now, what I'm about to say is not a criticism, but I wonder if the actor... Because obviously I don't know what he's done. He could be really famous for all I know. But I feel like sometimes you get actors who were just perfect for a role and maybe then don't have an everlasting career in acting. Does that make sense? Like even actors who would be in like Harry Potter or anything like that, sometimes they're just perfect for that role and nothing else quite fits. So I'm going to look into them. And I'm also going to look into Anthony Ainley, because I've never actually looked into him as the Master. And he did do a very good job, like all credit to him. I think coming after Roger Delgado is a toughie, right? But he did a fantastic job. And I just have great memories of the Fifth Doctor. Yeah, really, really fond memories. I think I'm going to leave it a bit now until I do the Sixth Doctor, because again, I think I only finished the Sixth Doctor probably this time last year, maybe? No. I was probably on the Seventh Doctor this time last year. But I'm probably going to leave it a couple of months, let the Sixth Doctor sit. Because again, he didn't have long at all. So, I'm interested what they're going to discuss with each Doctor. But yeah, I have the fondest memories of the Fifth Doctor. And my favourite thing of all is that he grew up watching Doctor Who and then he became the Doctor. I just love that so much. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about the Fifth Doctor. And I will see you very soon on my channel for another reaction. Bye.